Hello everyone, Johnny Minder here, and today we are continuing to learn Japanese with Pokémon FireRed. Last time we continued Mount Moon. We actually did a good amount of progress. So yeah, today we'll do that. Of course, we'll have we might have more items also to check on the way. Actually, first and foremost, if I recall correctly, we have to speak to a trainer we defeated last time, and there's an item also there. But yeah, then we'll continue from that. Not sure if we'll finish it today, Mount Moon, but we'll definitely get even closer. So yeah, without further ado, let's start. Yeah, here it starts with us going outside of Mount Moon, and funny enough, yeah, it shows also mentions also the Pokémon Center, not just shows it, since it was quick enough to be shown in a single spot, and yeah, then we got some items, exited it again to check the to heal our Pokemon, and also move Pokemon around in the PC. Okay. But yeah. And yeah, we saved here. First and foremost, yeah, we haven't spoken to this Team Rocket underling, as you have seen, the better term technically, as it's closer to the Japanese, but yeah, in English I think simply translated as Team Rocket Grant, as the trainer class without the name, as we have seen. But yeah, this one says Kaseki o mitsuketara basho o dake oshiete. And yeah, first and foremost, it says Kaseki, yeah, a term we have seen a lot at this point. Since it's the purpose, as you have seen, Team Rocket is here on Mount Moon, well, in the cave of Mount Moon, I should say, to look, searching for fossils. Yeah, Kaseki is fossil. Actually, Kaseki unaccented, yeah, Chinese compound of with the most common accent of those. The cow have even studied its kanji as a reminder to change, and yeah, then Seki as mentioned, the one for rock, stone, with the Chinese reading in this case. Object, particle, or retails one pronounced such in careful speech and also singing. Mitsuketara, a compound verb. We have seen it before, I think also in this very series. From Miru, now we have studied even the kanji of that, to see, to look at, to watch, root verb, and verb, so we can then drop the root to make the conjugative form and attach the second verb part of the compound, tsukeru, accented. The usual verb with the meaning to attach, to join, to add, and so on. To stick also, technically. But yeah. By combining these two verbs, we get the meaning figuratively applying the seeing, in the sense that, yeah, when you spot, that's the best translation to see, the closest one, I'd say, to the Japanese term in a way, as it shows that, yeah, it's related to seeing. Yeah, then we could simply to find, to discover, and so on. So yeah, worth mentioning that unfortunately, it's one of those compound verbs that, despite the second verb part of the compound being accented, it becomes unaccented. I'd say in most cases, luckily, we follow the accent of the second verb part of the compound, at least based on what we have seen so far. But yeah, we have found, funny enough, considering the meaning of the verb, some that don't correspond. So yeah, be careful. So yeah, this is keru. Ru verb is some verb, also skeru, of course, on its own. Ru verb is some verb, so we can drop the ru to make again the conjunctive form. In this case, to then add ta, first and foremost, make the ta form of the verb, past form of the verb in plain speech. But in this case, it's not ta on its own, but there's also the ra. When we add the ra, we get one of the forms of the conditional. If or when, so I can also have a temporal meaning, yeah, again similar to English, if when. With Tara, it's not a case that we pass. We first form the ta form past form, because yeah, this is the one that puts the focus on the action of the verb having happened before something else can happen. So yeah, it has the past for that reason. But yeah, then we have basho. We should have found it. Well, the term we have seen for sure. We should have actually seen. We have studied also the kanji for ba on its own. Strictly Japanese reading that, while the one for sure is a Chinese reading, so yeah, it's one of those compounds that mix the readings. We can have some that have strictly Japanese and Chinese, or the other way around. Yeah, this is the former, as mentioned. Unaccented, basho. But yeah, the meaning is these two kanji have practically the same meaning, and yeah, so also the compound has that. So yeah, it's place, location, and so on. Then we have the particle dake. Its most common meaning, as we have seen, is just, only, simply. We have seen the other usage technically is as much as, to the extent of. So yeah, it's funny usage here, but yeah, it's still related to those, as we see. And then we have the verb oshiete. Don't remember if I've seen it in this series. Osheru, fundamental meaning to teach, to instruct. And then by extension, more in general, to tell, to inform, to show, quote unquote, but yeah, not the best verb technically for that. Better, by extension, yeah, to tell, to inform. But the original, the fundamental meaning is to teach, as we see also when we study its kanji. Unaccented verb. Ru verb is a verb. So yeah, we can drop the ru to make the conjunctive form again. In this case, to attach the te form, the te to make the te form. Same formation as the ta form, as we have seen above. Te form, in this case, when found at the end of a sentence, so as the main verb, it implies a kudasai. Kudasaru, a verb of giving. honorific, more specifically respectful language, cioè a superior giving to an inferior, as can be seen by its kanji, even though nowadays more usually it's not used, but it can show up, as we have funny enough seen with our other current Let's Learn Japanese with series, where it we have seen kudasai written with the kanji. But yeah, respectful language. Verb and verb, but as we have seen, some honorific verbs, to make the continuative form, they drop the ru at i originally, so actually change the u into i as usual, kudasari, but then the r fell, so only they remained, and yeah, this applies to certain honorific verbs, as we have seen. Implied, then, usually not explicited, there is a masse, cioè continuative form, to add the auxiliary verb mass, used to make the polite form of verbs, change the u into e, it's a u verb colon verb technically, to make, change the u into e to make the imperative form, so yeah. And actually, I didn't mention that when we have a verb of giving after te form, it's the meaning is do the favor of doing the action of the verb in te for the speaker, for the one who's talking to us. So yeah. So yeah, I find here it's saying if or when you find, you implied find fossils in general, so it's a plural technically. Please, technically, even though not the full form, it isn't straight up the imperative, and that's it. No, it's ate kudasai, shortened, but ate kudasai. So do the favor of telling, in this case by teach, and then by extension to tell, as mentioned. Tell as in general Team Rocket, or I'd say most likely not strictly him, could be also strictly him technically. Literally only, or maybe better, as much as the place, even though the latter is more with quantities usually. Or another example with the demonstrative pronouns kore, sore, are, usually kore dake, for example, this much. So yeah, in that sense. So yeah, that dake is kind of funny. So yeah, he's asking, please tell us just the place. So yeah, of course implied, so yeah, that we can then get them ourselves. No, okay, it actually continues. So yeah, no, what we said, so, but it's the usage of the te form simply in the middle of a sentence, so yeah. Do the action of the verb in te and the rest of the sentence, or by doing the action of the verb in te while doing, and so on. So yeah, he said this, so yeah, just tell us the place, and Sasato kairundana. And yeah, first we have this Sasato. Which is an onomatopoeia technically, and yeah, one of those with the to at the end. So yeah, the to is actually the usual with, in this case as the quotation particle, so yeah, with and before the quotation, in our case an onomatopoeia. I can see the accent of it, maybe with the physical dictionary I'll get it. Yeah, got the physical dictionary to check that if you can find it. But yeah, as for its meaning, as you might guess, based on the sound sassa, and also technically some similar expressions, it means quickly, promptly, immediately, and so on. We'll check if we can find it for the accent. Unfortunately, here we can't be completely sure. Usually, we've seen several of these verbs with the to then, these onomatopoeias with the to at the end, accented before the to, but there are also some unaccented ones. So yeah. With the so there. Okay, found it. And actually, straight up another completely different accent. Although I can, based on what I've heard, and also in part the structure, I kind of expected it. By the way, actually, yeah, worth mentioning, could be. Despite not being that it's actually in part an onomatopoeia with the repetition, the same word said twice, in part because of that sa, with the addition of then the doubling of the consonant and the sa. Not exactly, but that would explain the accent then, because we have seen that those usually are the ones accented on the first mora. But yeah, regardless, the accent is on the first sa, so yeah, sassato. Yeah, so the meaning is that another meaning technically is indifferently coldly, but yeah, no, more often than not you will hear the first one. It's used with the first meaning. And yeah, then we have the verb kairu. But yeah, the way, yeah, with this to, it's an adverb, yeah, so in its usage. And then, yeah, we have kairu, this one clearly, the one which means to return, come, go, home, go back, accented. In this case, so accent on the third to last mora. Verbs usually, when accented, are accented on the second to last mora in their dictionary form, terminal form, the one found at the end of sentences. But this one, the accent moves on the third to last because ae is considered a diphthong. So then the usual rules about long vowels and so on, not being able to keep the accent on those, yeah, then that applies. So kairu usually. I think there actually might be the variant. Don't remember for kairu exactly this one, but I have seen it for other verbs, similar verbs with the ae combination. Let me see it. I have the physical dictionary. So yeah, can be considered not strictly a diphthong in other cases, and in that case, yeah, you keep the accent as usual on the on the second to last mora. I don't think so in the case of kairu. and yeah, it's accented on the K. Last but not least, we have nda, na, technically then, but yeah, first nda, contraction of no, da, no, the nominalizer for verbs and adjectives, thing as in fact, da the copula in plain speech. So literally it is that, the fact is that, the explanation is that, yeah, so used an expression quite used in Japanese, as we have seen. Last but not least, we have the final sentence particle na, which is a confusing one, because one meaning usually on its own is more of a wow, u. In Kansai dialect is corresponds to ane, but yeah, can be found actually with that meaning also sometimes. Ooh. Hope I didn't cause issues. Okay, no, we should be fine. But yeah. So yeah, we have that, and yeah, the final sentence particle na. Here I'd say, anyway, the usage here with, first and foremost, because yeah, as you have seen, it's an exclamation, so yeah. Is saying as, so, is telling us that, yeah, you should, tell us that, for me, well, as it's thinking in Rocket in general, just the place when you find, or if you find fossils, and go back, go home immediately. So yeah, despite having defeated this Grant, yeah, still goes on with this nonsense about us going back. But yeah, let's actually finally get the item. And of course, it's a technique machine, a move machine. TM is the term in usually the contraction in English. Yeah, so it is time to check these. We have delayed it. Yeah, the more we do it, the worse it will be. So yeah, we have first and foremost actually this item, this key item. And yeah, I think actually the term, yeah, for this section is key items in English or something along these lines. As we have seen here in Japanese, it's important things. Well, not the usual thing as in object we have studied even its kanji. The tai is big, the kanji for big, Chinese compound, taisetsu. Should be an accent if I recall correctly that. Mono, on the other hand, accent on the last mora, but yeah, that we have already seen. Even its kanji as mentioned. Yeah, unaccented. By the way, if you want to review some kanji you haven't checked or want to see them when I explain them, I always put the lists for each series in the description of the playlists of each series that has some kanji. You can then find there the parts, specific parts, and also on Patreon. But yeah, of course, you can also check them elsewhere, but yeah. Yeah, so this item is called Waza Machine Kesu. Yeah, the description says Waza Machine o Ireru Kesu. So yeah, actually, I haven't translated its name, but we'll actually see it in a second anyway. Was a technique, as I've already introduced. But yeah, in the case of Pokemon games, moves. We have even studied its kanji because we found it in another series. Its accent on the last mora on its own was a machine, yeah, from English machine. So yeah, these are the accent. Yeah, it's like in English machine, so on the shi in Japanese. I suspect it becomes there, usually on its own, was a machine, as found now then in the description. A compound, so we should keep the accent only of the second word, part of this compound, as usual, for these compounds involving English words. Yeah, then in the name we'll add kesu, yeah, case, as in the container, of course, in this case, although the word can be used as case in instance situation, as says also the dictionary, also in Japanese. So you have case in both cases, accented like in English, so on the ke. And yeah, the description then said was a machine again, so yeah, the TM, object particle O, ireru. Technically, as we have seen, literally, to put in, to insert. We have even studied the kanji of this at this. Here used, yeah, literally with that meaning. Then in translation we can simply that contains. We'll see why in a second. And last but not least, yeah, after it, after the verb we have kesu again. So it's actually a relative clause. So here it's saying it's implied a copula, a case that, and that's why in English I would then simply translate it as contain, that contains TMs, technique machines, and yeah, because of that, literally it is where maybe you put TMs, and then it says Baggu no taisetsu na mono o ireru tokoro ni tsuiteru. And yeah, then it says here Baggu, first and foremost, it's a word found also in the menu, bag from English. Notice the doubling of the consonant, unlike in English, but the accent is the same, so on the ba. Possessive particle no. Taisetsu na mono again, so yeah, as already explained, taisetsu important. Chinese compound and luckily an accent like most of those are. Na adjective, so yeah, we have the na to then attach it to mono, thing, objects, things, objects. Then we have the object particle o, ireru once more, unaccented, if I haven't mentioned it. After it we have tokoro, which strictly speaking is yet again relative clause. Yeah, in this case, that's it. While in English we could technically translate it straight up here even better as where, because tokoro means literally place. Yeah, it's the tokoro unaccented is the strictly Japanese reading of the sho we have seen before in basho. So yeah, here it is. Then we have the particle ni, tu. And yeah, like in English as we see, but here because of contact technically, but yeah, because then we have the verb tsuiteiru, tsu from tsuku, the intransitive form of tsukeru. And yeah, so this one is to be attached, connect, adhere. And yeah, so you can see that attached to, connected with, you could also say. And that's why we use the particle ni with it. Notice the verb in u, the intransitive, the one in eru, the transitive, and yeah, it's a typical couple we've seen of verbs between the of forms between the intransitive and transitive forms of verbs. Here, tsuku is technically u of tsu would be barely heard if at all because it's within a voice consonants, like in tsukeru. And then usually people would move the accent because of, well, in that case, because yeah, of course it's not easy to pronounce. Doesn't make much sense technically to keep the accent on a vowel that's barely heard, and even more so when they straight up don't pronounce it. But yeah. Verb and verb, so we have to follow the rules to make that a form. It's in ku, so it becomes ite, because yeah, change the u into i, tsuki te, but then the k fell and so only the i remained. The form required here because then we added the verb iru to be as in to exist on its own of animate things, people and animals. But after that form of a verb, it becomes an auxiliary with the meanings continuing action or state, so yeah, to be doing the action of the verb, or to have add whatever the verb says. Technically, in translation here, better it is attached, considering the verb. Technically, I'd say it would be, strictly speaking, a continuing action, continuing state. So yeah, has been attached would be, because yeah, it isn't the state of being attached. So yeah, here it's saying yeah, it is attached to the place where you put the important things of the bag. So simply that. Yeah, we'll open it. This we have already seen. Yes, we should have seen the verb with the option hiraku to open. We've seen that there are also the verbs aku, akeru. Those are unaccented. Hiraku should be accented. Hiraku is peculiar because it can be used both for the transitive and intransitive, while aku intransitive, akeru transitive. The difference is in how you open these. Hiraku is something that you technically spread open, while aku, akeru, you open kind of a hole, as we have seen. But yeah, we see them again. I mentioned them again. Hopefully I remember. Yeah, I should remember when we studied the kanji. But yeah, so we have found these. Technically we have the other TMs, but we might ignore them for now. I want to check at the very least the one we have found today. At some point I would like to check the other ones, but yeah, the one we found is the number 46. So in Japanese would be Yonju Roku. Let me take the other physical dictionary though. Okay, got the other physical dictionary for the accent. In this case, to check, to verify once more the accent for this combination, because yeah, I think it might be one of those where it's technically separated. But yeah, let's see. On their own, we have Yeonju. The Yon, the strictly Japanese reading before the Ju, instead of the Chinese one, simply because to avoid the reading Shi, which is the same one as the kanji for death, as usual. Technically, there is the other form, but yeah, nowadays I'd say more often than not, Yon is used. So Yeonju, accented on the first mora on its own. So literally 4 tens, 4 times 10, 40, and then 6, which is Roku, an accent on the last mora on its own. 46. When combining them, we have to follow these rules of these combined forms. So when combining the tens, which are in our case 40, accent on the first mora, like Yeonju, here Niju, but yeah, same. With Roku, yeah, I remember correctly, there are technically 2 variants. One simply keeps the accent of, keeps only the accent of the 20, 40, and so on. Yeonju in our case, cioè Yeonju Roku, Roku then stays completely low, or you can simply separate them, and yeah, then it's easy, you simply pronounce the 2 with the 2 accents, so yeah, Yeonju Roku. But yeah, wanted to verify it. There are some other ones that don't work like this, so yeah, it was worth checking out. But yeah, wanted to mention this one, other than to finally check out the Was a Machine case description, because it's a pretty interesting one. The move that it contains is Dorobo. Dorobo means thief. Yeah, technically also thief should be in general. But yeah, also burglar, robber. So we can use this term for all of them without distinction. There are some other ones, but I'd say this is one of the most common ones. Chinese compound. So, like an accent like most of those are. Literally, I want to mention that the first kanji is the one for mud. And then we have this bow, which is on its own rod, stick, and so on. So yeah, literally we have mud, stick. So yeah, but it's the term used for thief, burglar, robber. Cioè, thief in general. We have its stats there. I don't think we have seen also those in general, so let me actually mention them so that we can get rid of those. Hi Ken, nice to see you here. Yeah, in order from top to bottom. On the left, in the box, on the bottom, in the bottom left, top to bottom, on the left, we have Taipu. Type, simply from English. The accent should be the same. We should have found it, the term before, at least this one, I think. By accented like in English on the ta. which in this case is aku, the term on its right, with the color, because they distinguish the types also with the colors in this game. Aku, accent on the first mora, also on its own, like here, is the Chinese reading of kanji. The kanji of, with the strictly Japanese reading, Warui, you might remember that, and also might know it because of the whole Mario and Wario matter. Bad, the fundamental meaning. With aku, it's specifically evil or wickedness. As the noun. Technically also then, by extension, the role of the villain in theater and so on, the bad guy. Literally in Japanese, this is the evil type. It's the dark type in English. Then we have, continuing top to bottom, now back to the left, Iryoku. Iryoku means power, might, Chinese compound, but this one of those accents on the first mora, the second most common accent for those. Iryoku. Power, fundamentally power, but then in the sense of might, authority as well, but here simply power. So here we have one of that has the 40 of power. Meichu, that term we should have seen before, because I think because it got decreased in cases like those. Meichu is the term for technically direct, implied hit or hitting the mark. Another Chinese compound is one unaccented. Then actually in Pokemon games, so the term for accuracy. 100, so one of those that can be decreased, but if there aren't decreases of that stat, then it does always hit. There are other ones without the number, and those hit regardless of decreases. Then PP, 10 of them. Let's see the description of it. Relatively long, but let's do it. Kogeki suru to doji ni dosakusa ni magirete aite ga motteiru dogu o nusumu. First and foremost, kogeki, the term we have already found, attack, the noun, Chinese compound, so it's unaccented like most of those. The kanji for geki we have already studied, which means beat, attack, the fundamental meaning. Utsu, the strictly Japanese reading. We can attack, as in the noun, can turn it into a verb by adding the verb suru, to do, unaccented on its own. So literally to do an attack, to attack. After suru we have a to, with, which after verbs, it's another form of the conditional. If, when can also have a temporal meaning. You do the action of the verb, and then the rest. This form is the closest to the zero conditional in English, because if when you do the action of that, inevitably something happens. Then we have doji, which is another Chinese compound. Literally means same time. Uses the kanji for same and the one for time. The one for same we have already studied, actually, I've checked. onaji, we have seen it. Onaji is the strictly Japanese reading, yeah. The Chinese one is here, do. Yeah, the G is the time. Unaccented, like usually Chinese compounds, most Chinese compounds are. Then we have the particle ni, so yeah, in at a specific time in this case, so yeah, at the same time. Unless it's something else. But yeah, that's the most common one for doji. We'll see based also on the rest of the sentence. And yeah, when you have kanji would avoid any ambiguity, but yeah, we don't have them here. Then we have this dosakusa as the term. Actually, I don't remember if I've pronounced it correctly before when reading, but yeah, dosakusa. Which means unaccented, doesn't show kanji in yeah, actually technically is also mentioned as an onomatopoeia with the other meaning. First and foremost, technically it's a noun with the meaning confusion, bustle, turmoil, trouble. Also technically an onomatopoeia with the meaning to rush around, to act frantically, when used with the verb suru, to turn it into a verb. Here, after it, we have the particle ni. So I'd say actually to make an adverb, technically. Or in, actually we could say in at, technically, because required by the following verb. Verb which is magirete. From magireru, accented actually. Magireru. Its meanings of magireru are technically the first one would be to disappear into, to be lost in, to get mixed in, among. But yeah, no. I'd say in this case. It's the extended meaning to be distracted by, to be too absorbed in, or something along one of those. It's worth mentioning, and I mentioned it already, that there actually is an expression that's dosakusa magire ni, so putting the verb before that and then adding the ni. So yeah, the magire there, ru verb is some verb, we drop the ru, make the conjugative form, and so the corresponding noun. Magire on its own, an accented confusion. Again, complications, and so on. So yeah, that expression is straight up in the confusion of the moment, taking advantage of the confused state of affairs. And yeah, actually, that's the meaning we more or less have also here, despite the slightly different structure. Yeah, here we put the verb magireru after, drop the ru to make the conjugative form, but to attach the form of the verb here. Here, and yeah, with the meaning, do that and the rest of the sentence, or better, by, while doing, I'd say, while confused. So then we have aite. The compound we have seen technically with the meaning companion, the fundamental one, better technically, other party, fundamentally, the kanji for te is straight up simply the term for hand. We have even studied this kanji. The I before it actually is a prefix with the meaning inter, mutual, and so on. Together, mutually, and all those. The accent of this aite luckily is still accented on the te, like te on its own, so aite accented on the last mora. But yeah, so because of that, technically I would say, first and foremost, can also be companion as mentioned, but yeah, other party also, counterparty, can see why. But yeah, here in Pokemon games, of course, more actually opponent in sports, yeah, in Pokemon battles. Then we have the subject particle ga. Motteiru from Motsu to hold, technically in one's hands. Then by extension to possess, to have. Motsu, verb and verb. We have to make that a form, we have to follow the rules, it's a double consonant te. Again, we change the U into I. Moti. Originally the weren't changes now present tachitsu te to. It was simply tati tu te to. Moti te, the I dropped, so yeah, motte. Yeah, straight up already. Double consonant. But yeah, after it again Iru, so yeah. Is holding better would be, so yeah. After it we have a noun, so another relative clause. The noun that follows is dogu, which we have already seen in this series. A weird Chinese compound because it's accent in the sense that when it comes to the accent, accent on the last mora, so yeah, dogu. But yeah. Tool, implement, on usually, but yeah, here simply item in Pokemon games. Object particle o. And last but not least, the verb nusumu. Nusumu, we check its accent. I think we have seen it before, maybe when someone was talking about Team Rocket in this very game. Yeah, accent actually was, I remember correctly. To steal. Yeah, it's the fun. It's the verb which means to steal. So yeah. So yeah, funny enough, yeah, we have the TM called thief. We have the verb to steal and right in front of a rocket. So yeah, not a coincidence that they put it here. So yeah, pretty really nice detail. Yeah, so the translation here is yeah, I'm not completely sure about that Dojini then, but I think it might still be what I mentioned, simply the same time, at the same time. Yeah, no, the other meanings would be weirder, but yeah. So here it's saying, yeah, while I'd say better, well, if, but then when you attack, at the same time, while it's confused, in Japanese, in English, we'll simply keep it like that, all that tosakusani magirete, you steal the item that the opponent is holding. She has attacks and does damage as mentioned there. But yeah, also if the opponent has a held item, yeah, you steal it. So yeah, actually pretty cool. We won't use these TMs, yeah, we'll keep them here for now. but yeah, I wanted to at least mention that one. I'd say then it makes sense to take our usual break right now. And yeah, we'll be back in around 2-3 minutes as usual. When we'll actually start properly backtracking first and foremost, but yeah, then to continue Mount Moon. So yeah, see you in around 2-3 minutes, I'd say. And we are back. Yeah, so we can continue. And yeah, as mentioned, now we can backtrack. Okay, here. And yeah, so far we have checked 2 of the ladders. The one down, this one on the way. And now we'll continue up here. Okay, I'm even more tempted technically to use the... we have only 2 repels left, but yeah. Actually, for this one, I simply send our Bulbasaur. Yeah, we use the usual attack here. Vine Whip, also I think straight up in English. Yeah, actually, as I suspected, yeah, this should have been a trainer, and we haven't tackled him yet, so yeah, we'll do so. This one says, "Ooh-ah!" First and foremost, so simply an exclamation. In this case, I think we have seen it before in this very in Mount Moon here. But yeah, here I'd say as a R or something along these lines. Notice the longer vowel and also the additional 2 at the end in katakana, weirdly enough. And then the exclamation mark, of course, as mentioned. It's an exclamation. But yeah, more interesting than it says Bikurista. This we should have seen before in this series. Bikuri is another of those onomatopoeias in Ri. Weirdly enough, it can technically be written with kanji. Nowadays, usually not. And anyway, those kanji would be so-called gikun, is the Japanese term for those. So compound the reading of kanji by meaning. Gikun is a Chinese compound technically, so I think it would be, it's an accent like most of those are. But yeah, in this case in particular, so actually a reading applied, strictly Japanese reading applied to a global Chinese compound of two kanji. But yeah, regardless, usually written with kana anyway nowadays. It's one of those onomatopoeias with ri at the end, and luckily those are accented before the ri itself. Doesn't mention it there, but I have the physical dictionary to confirm it. But yeah, no, that's usually the rule, and I'm pretty sure, if I recall correctly, that with the ri it's respected. There shouldn't be exceptions, at the very least not that I'm aware of. Unlike in other cases, as we've seen, with the ones with the to at the end, for example, those unfortunately aren't as regular. But yeah, with Bikuri, unsurprisingly, terms like these ones we do find in the physical dictionary, unlike the online dictionary plus plugin combo. That's why it's useful to check them. Confirm it's before the ri accent as usual. You might guess also based on the pronunciation of the bhikkhu that the meaning of this onomatopoeia is well, usually more than onomatopoeia, then, even though the origin is that, is to be surprised. So to be surprised, amazed, frightened, and so on. Fundamental meaning surprised. And can be turned into a verb by adding suru. Here, suru is completely irregular, so we have to remember that its continuative form is shi. And then, luckily, like verbs and verbs, we can straight up attach the ta, like in this case, or ta form. So here ta, past form of the verb in plain speech. So here is saying simply, I was surprised. Well, actually, to be surprised and then so also to get startled. I got startled here better. And then suspension dots. Nanda kodomoka. First we have this Nanda, comes from simply nani. Interrogative pronoun, which means what. You might have heard it also outside of this because of memes and also in anime and so on. What? When we add something after it, it gets contracted. Here we add da, which is straight up simply the copula in plain speech. So the ni becomes nanda. The accent stays like nani on its own on the na. So yeah, it literally it's what but yeah, used as a what as in an exclamation, or yeah, we could say then also what the heck. And then we have Kodomo, yeah, the term we have already seen, technically a compound, but yeah, nowadays it's the term used more for child or children. As usual, Japanese words can be specified for the plural by adding with the pluralizing suffixes and so on, and it is done so when we want to do that. But the word without those can be singular or plural, then you simply tell by the context. Here singular clearly. Kodomo unaccented, reminded that the ko on its own also means child. But yeah, the term used nowadays on its own usually is more Kodomo, to avoid also potential confusions. Unaccented Kodomo, also ko on its own. Ko, we have even studied its kanji recently, thanks to the other series, Kairu no Tameni Kanewanaru. Last but not least, the interrogative particle ka. So yeah, technically used to make questions, the fundamental usage. Here, as also marked because we don't have the interrogative, the question mark after it, it's most likely something like along the if it isn't a kid. So not an actual question, but yeah, in that sense. So yeah, he's saying this, and then the fight, the battle starts, of course. New trainer class, we haven't found, we haven't battled one of these yet. Yamaotoko, yeah, is the term of this trainer class in Japanese. If I recall correctly, in English it's hiker maybe. Yeah, no, in the Japanese term is a compound noun from Yama, accented on the last mora on its own, mountain. Otoko, yeah, man. I've seen it also with Otoko no ko, male child, which is the option we have to choose to pick this one. But yeah, Otoko also accented on the last mora on its own. But yeah, when combining these two, the accent is on the O of Otoko. So it's actually on the first mora of the second word part of the compound. Yeah, a typical spot for the accent in these compounds. Unfortunately, not the only one for these strictly Japanese compounds. Unlike in Chinese, bigger Chinese compounds and so on. But yeah, this one luckily is. So literally, man, mountain, mountain man. It's also straight up in that order in Japanese. So actually, an alpinist would be the better, the best translation here mentioned. Also in the online dictionary. But yeah, then we have the usual possessive particle. So yeah, trainer class possessive particle. Given name of the person, unless it's a rocket grant as we have seen, such a particle guy in the rest of the sentence, but this we have seen before. This one is called katsuto. I think with the suffix to, which is a suffix usually for male given names. I think it's one of those that make it unaccented. But yeah, I can check it on the fly here. Hopefully that's the case. Well, actually, maybe I can find it in the physical dictionary. I'll quickly look it up if I can find it there, even though some names should be present, but I have doubts about this one. Yeah, no more than given names, maybe family names there, surnames, but yeah, no. Didn't seem, didn't look like it was present, but yeah, so cut stop. And yeah, these mountain men, yeah, usually have all these ground and rock Pokemon, like this one, both ground and rock. So we'll switch to Bulbasaur, definitely. And yeah, one more reason why picking Bulbasaur is technically easy mode, quote unquote, at the very least for the start of the game. Because it helps in these situations, and also, as we've seen, Brock. Squirtle is the second easiest one, also useful against Brock, but less so for what's coming, as we eventually get to it when we get out of Mount Moon. But yeah, and Charmander, yeah, no. That one, the most difficult one, because yeah, not useful at all against Brock. Again, sends another Geodude Ishitsubute as a reminder in Japanese. Okay. Yeah, I'm sending Rattata to train also these Pokemon. But then again, it's just to switch them in and out to train them. But yeah, then we send our usual here. Bulbasaur. I would like to heal Bulbasaur with again the seed. I don't remember. I still don't remember the exact English name of this, but yeah, it's the parasitic seed. But yeah, we'll use simply Vine Whip then. As you can see, we are at half PPs, so we have a 5 out of 10, and also changes the color because of that. Usually black, yeah, here it becomes yellow. So similar to PP, to HPs, as we have just seen, while it was decreased in at once there, because yeah, 4 times the effect. I actually didn't see what it said there, but yeah, we can continue still doing this most certainly. Okay, simply an Onyx, so yeah, I thought it was different, but I didn't read it, but yeah, Iwaku, Onyx, Japanese name, yeah, again, Boulder Snake, Iwa and Snake, as we have seen before. Yeah, I'll send again back Bulbasaur here. Simply tackle. Honestly, I could take it as a chance here to slightly heal. Well, good thing I did, because this will keep on damaging me otherwise. So we can slightly heal. Although I think one Vine Whip is enough again. 4 times. Super effective. 4 times the damage instead of just super. Yeah, because super effective against both types of the Pokemon. So yeah, with that, Rattata also got to level 10, nice. And yeah, funny enough, now this trainer simply says Odoroita. Funny enough, I say because comes from Odoroku, which is the verb. This one straight up a verb, or a strictly Japanese verb of strictly Japanese origin, which means to be surprised. So yeah, he's saying that again, changes simply the word accented Odoroku. So yeah, to be surprised, amazed, astonished, shocked. By extension, also to be frightened, startled, but more in the sense of to be startled, alarmed. U verb con verb in Q, so again, ita, the ta form. So yeah. Yeah, I got, I was surprised, taken aback, and so on. While in this case of actually referring to the fight, technically, I'd say, but yeah. By the way, incidentally, I want to mention that if I recall correctly, the corresponding noun, so by changing the U into I, conjugative form, and so corresponding noun Odoroki, is also Apollo's Japanese name from the Ace Attorney series, Kyaku Tensai Ban. I wanted to mention it incidentally. I think that's the case. And yeah, they love the puns in that. In those games. Yeah, let's see what this trainer says after the fight. Well, first and foremost, Kodomo ga. I'll send that down immediately. Kodomo again, child, well, in this case, most likely children, plural in general. Subject particle ga. And then says, Konna kurai tokoro o. Kurai actually, an accent should be. Uro uro sha ikan na. First and foremost, we have Konna. Yeah, we've seen it before a lot. Even just in this very series, the contraction of Kono Yona, part of the Kosodo series. Ko close to both the speaker and the listener, so far from the speaker close to the listener, a far from both, though the interactive, Koso I usually an accented, though accented though itself. With first, by adding no, we get the demonstrative adjective, this or these, followed by the noun yo, form, kind, style, way, and so on. Well, in this case, this kind of na adjective, yeah, so that's why, but then gets contracted, kono yona becomes simply konna, still unaccented. Like this, we could also say then in English simply, yeah, maybe that's better in this case. But yeah, then it says kurai. I'll check if it is an accented, as I thought. It means dark. Also in color. But yeah, here dark, gloomy. Yeah, an accent. We should have found it before in this. Thanks to this very cave, I think. The cave of Mount Moon. After it, we have Tokoro once more, so a place, and so on. Object particle O. Uro Uro. Yeah, you might have already guessed based on the sound, the repeated sound also. Yeah, another onomatopoeia. This one, of that kind, so should be accent on the first more as usual. For those, yes, it is. In this case, well, uro uro can mean also restlessly, aimlessly, without purpose. I think we've seen that before. But yeah, here definitely the other meaning, to wander aimlessly. You can see why that, yeah, from aimlessly then to wander aimlessly, by adding the verb suru. Here we conjugate suru in its form ste. Then we add the topic particle wa written as a ha. We'll see why in a second. That shite wa becomes contracted, so yeah, it becomes sha. Te wa becomes cha because, and so yeah, sha. Then we have this ikan, a contraction of ikanai. Iku, the verb which means to go, we have now studied its kanji. We change the u into a. It's a verb converb, so we can change the u into a to make the irialis, not a state form. We could simply call it nowadays negative base because that's its most common usage. In this case, to add nai technically. Nai on its own can be, we have found it contracted into n as well. But yeah, nai on its own, e adjective with the meaning non-existent, and yeah, used also with the negative base of verbs to make the negative form in plain speech. So literally doesn't go implied well. So yeah, it's this usage to go in this sense in this case. When we find this structure, verb in te, then the wa. Here the topic particle is actually required most certainly simply because of the following negative, because that's a usage of the topic particle, most likely because actually when you put something, what comes before the topic particle is technically given information, or at the very least, anyway, the focus moves technically on the following verb, on the negative. So yeah, it's actually comes up this topic particle wa with negative verbs. Yeah, it's used. We have seen some instances of that before. We'll see more of them. But yeah, here is straight up in this expression used. So yeah. Also could be the te wa, technically speaking, when you as for that being the case literally. So then in English we could say if that's the case, it doesn't go well. So yeah. If you do that action, it doesn't go well. So yeah, you mustn't do that action. You shouldn't do that action. So yeah, it's a way to say that what one mustn't do. We use this expression in Japanese because of that literal meaning. Last but not least, we find the na. Yeah, here straight up also with a longer vowel. So yeah. Again, I'd say technically for yeah, here more as in hey. Yeah, technically then I didn't mention that can also have the meanings of the yo, so that's why it's confusing. It can have both the ones of the yo or the ne, or straight up some of its own, like straight up those exclamations. So yeah, confusing because of all these. But yeah, here because clearly in the sense for the emphasis of these kind of an exclamation, we could say. But yeah, so he's saying, yeah, as mentioned above, kids shouldn't wander aimlessly a dark place like this. So better that translation here in English for Konna. He's saying that. Funny enough, this is a particularly dark place, unlike, as we see, a certain other cave, but we'll get to it when we get to it. We're taking then down this other ladder. And this one will be the one for to continue. While Paris here, technically I could go for a mirror match here, but I will take more damage than anything. I'll send PG to quickly get rid of it thanks to the flying attack. It's a bug Pokemon Paras. So pretty easy. Of course. I'm hesitating. We actually had 3 repairs. One we have used. We have 2 left. I'm not using them for now. Also because of an upcoming part here in when we go down the ladder once more in a second. That's the reason why. You might, if you have played Gen 1 games before. Okay, this is annoying. I don't think it's one of the attacks we have Bulbasaur has learned. And by the way, technically, we would have also those to check. I'll quickly show them. But definitely not today. Because we have the effects and so on of the moves Bulbasaur learned, and we had to delete some. So we should check them here. But no. Let's focus for now simply on the name of this one. It should be one of those we haven't. Bulbasaur hasn't learned. This one is Shibire Gona. From Shibireru. Actually, I want to see. Of course, that's simply a term used in Pokemon, this one. I wanted to look it up, but, just for the accent, because unfortunately, it's a strictly Japanese compound, so I won't be able to confirm it, and I think we checked out and I couldn't find it as a suffix this. But regardless, compound noun from Shibireru, as mentioned, which means to become numb, but more in our case than also to get an electric shock, to tingle from an electric shock. Actually used, as we have seen, paralysis in Pokemon games. Accented, okay, Shibireru, remember correctly. Root verb is a verb, so we can simply drop the root to make the conjugative form. In this case, to attach the second verb part, the second noun, make the corresponding noun technically to attach then the second noun part of this compound. Gona, actually from Kona, that we have seen thanks to Bulbasaur's new attacks, new moves. Kona becomes voiced here because it's the second word part of a compound and of strictly Japanese origin that more often than not happens to those. As mentioned, the accent, Kona accented on its own on the last mora. Powder, the fundamental meaning. and then by extension also flower, and also dust technically, but yeah, no, fundamental meaning powder, and then by extension flower. Oh yeah, so it's paralyzing powder here, and yeah, as we have seen, then unfortunately, yeah, PG got paralyzed here. I might use the item then after here. But yeah, first let's defeat this annoying Paras. Perfect. As you have seen, one attack should be enough, and yeah, it is. Again. Okay. Let me see in the bag if I do have... I only have one. I don't remember if I have checked out its description. Honestly, we'll ignore it anyway. Unfortunately, I have to use it, but this one can be bought also in shops. Yeah, no, I'll use it here. At this point, it makes sense also to heal PG, since as we have seen, potions heal 20 HP max, and yeah, so a perfect heal here. And yeah, no, I want PG to be in top condition here, since we are not going back. I don't remember. Okay, yeah. So I actually did remember. I thought there would be an item up here, but yeah, and there was one. I wasn't completely sure. Some Pikachu. Yeah, there was a little something that I don't think we've seen, so I'll actually quickly show it. I think we have seen in general when you change Pokemon, change the active Pokemon in general, but I don't think we mentioned this Paras Moi. Then we also have Motorhead mentioning it quickly, that as well. Paras, the name of our Pokemon. Moi is the thing I wanted to mention in particular. Literally, it's a compound. We combine the terms mo, accented on the first mora. Yeah, it can be accented on the u because it's actually the long vowel for the o, u, long o in Japanese. So yeah, can stay on the o, long vowel, the accent. So yeah, mo, high, low. It's very, its meanings are already, yet. Another one we have seen soon. One we have found actually a lot is further, more. And yeah, these are the fundamental meanings of this term. After it, we have the E adjective E. E, yoi. Yoi is the form used usually nowadays in when conjugating the adjective. In its base form, we use E mostly nowadays. It means good. So yeah, literally it says it means it's already good. Right, as in the way it is. So it's used actually to say that's enough then by extension. But yeah, you can see why then by combining the two meanings of the word of these words. Last but not least, after technically it says Modore from Modoru that we have seen before. I think also in this series, even if we haven't checked this out, to go back to return. But yeah, this one is a more generic to return to go back. to turn back also technically. Sorry, yeah. Then other examples, but we ignore them. Accented. U verb go and verb, so we can change the U into E to make the imperative form in plain speech. So yeah, return, come back, I got the usual. Surprising, yeah, when you come back, you make retreat a Pokemon, the active Pokemon, to send another one. Yeah, the Zubat here got paralyzed thanks to Pikachu's ability. So quite convenient. And yeah, I'm bringing here I have Pikachu in the team, despite actually not making particular sense for the sake of evolutions, because it evolves with a stone, as we'll eventually see. But yeah, useful here against all these Zubats. And also for something that's coming. Okay, we got this item, which I don't think we've seen before, so we'll check it. Yeah, especially because... no, okay, these we should be able to buy in shops eventually, I think. I do think so, these basic ones. So yeah, these are the revitalizes. I think they're called in English, but yeah, regardless. In Japanese, they're called Genki no Kakera. And yeah, first and foremost, we have Genki, a Chinese compound. This one accented on the first mora, second most common accent for those. Literally, the closest translation from between the English ones is full of spirit, because yeah, we have in Japanese literally original spirit. Yeah, ki is the usual term for mind, spirit, and so on. The one also found in the martial arts. Qi in Chinese because of the evolution of that language, unaccented on its own. But yeah, then from that the full of spirit and lively, energetic, also by extension then vital, and so by extension also healthy, and so on. Possessive particle no in this case. It's technically an adjective, so usually we would have that. But yeah, here technically, instead of the now, we have the possessive particle no. We'll see why in a second. And then we have Kakera. This we have seen before because of another item, I think. Yeah, the one we have right before it, Hoshi no Kakera, star piece, piece of star. And yeah, Kakera is actually fragment, piece, and so on, unaccented. So yeah, literally a fragment piece of I'd say health, but yeah, so we don't have the na for the adjective here, because otherwise it would be technically energetic, fragment, piece, and so on. But yeah, it's not technically that the piece itself is energetic or healthy, or that is, but yeah, no, it's a piece that brings implied good health. As it says then in the description, Hinshi ni natte shimatta Pokémon Ippiki, I would pronounce it myself, even though here we have Hiki, no HP o Hanbun made Kaifuku suru. And yeah. Okay, let's translate it step by step. Well, first and foremost, we have this Hinshi. this one, it's weird because definitely not the term we would see in the English version. It would be translated simply as fainted, but yeah. Hinshi in Japanese could be one of two words. One is Chinese compound, unaccented hinshi, part of speech in grammar, clearly not our case. The other one is still unaccented hinshi, yeah, it's another Chinese compound. Verge of death. So on the verge of death, yeah, and they would definitely not use this term in English. So yeah, it's the usual fainted simply. Yeah, interesting that in Japanese they use this. Then we have the particle ni. To, into better technically, required actually by the following verb. Natte, from naru, to become. To turn into, we could say, so yeah, technically, because of that, we have the particle ni before it. By the way, yeah, hinshi, this one, a noun, but a noun that can take the genitive case particle, the possessive particle, no, to make in practice an adjective when then followed by a noun. But yeah, no, this one, we have the particle ni because of the naru. Naru accented. Technically, we have even no. This one we haven't studied the kanji usual. We have seen a kanji that could be used, but not the one usually used. So, never mind. But yeah, naru verb, colon verb. So we can say we have to follow the rules. In ru, it becomes double consonant te. That's because yeah, we changed the u into i, nari te, but then the i fell. Narte, difficult to pronounce, became simply the doubling of the following consonant, natte. The form required because then we had shimatta from shimau, unaccented on its own means to end, to finish, also to put away, another meaning by an extended meaning. But here, after the form of a verb, it becomes an auxiliary with the meanings. To finish, as in do completely, the action of the verb, or more often, to end up doing something by accident. Cioè, that in our case here, shimau verb con verb, it's in u as the final mora, so becomes double consonant ta because originally it was actually in pu. Became U because of the evolution of the language, as we have already mentioned before. But yeah, so we changed the U into I. Shimapita. The I fell then again, so yeah, shimapta, difficult to pronounce, doubling of the following consonant. Shimatta, the form past form of the verb. After it, we have Pokémon, so yeah, a relative close. And then we have this numeral plus counter combination. With the hiki, the counter for small animals. We have seen only this one so far for Pokemon in general. Uses Chinese numerals, it's of Chinese origin, so that's why usually I would simply read it as ippiki with the contraction. And in that case, when with the contractions, the accent of this hiki is the accent is on the ki of hiki. Without it, with the numbers where there isn't contraction, usually it's before the hiki. For example, ni hiki, 2 small animals. Yeah, the accent is on the ni. I wanted to quickly check though. Because we have seen it again before in this game, the hiki without the doubling, without the p. Because yeah, originally again because of the evolution of the language, the term was in p, which was kept when there's a contraction the doubling of the following constant before it. In the other cases, it evolved and became Hiki, also on its own. And yeah, no, actually, Ippiki is the one shown here. So yeah, it's weird because, funny enough, we have found in this very game Ho for the... Actually, I can quickly show it. I have one, yeah, Hyaku, and then the Po. But yeah, usually it's Ho, the term on its own for step, becomes Po here because it becomes contracted Hyappo. So weird that they put it here, but then not for the Hiki of Ippiki. But yeah, regardless, it is Ippiki actually. Possessive particle no. HP. Object particle O. Then we have Hambun. Ciao Guillaume, hello, nice to see you here. But yeah, we have Hambun, another Chinese compound. Type it in, want to check its accent as usual. Literally, it simply means half part. So yeah, half then simply in English of something. Yeah, literally a half part uses those two kanji. Okay, good thing I checked because it's actually one of those weird Chinese compounds with a different accent. As mentioned, the most common one unaccented. Second most common one accent on the first mora. Yeah, no, this is one accent on the last mora. Actually can stay the accent on the on the nasal mora. So it moves on the bu. But yeah, would be accent on the last mora. Hambun on the last syllable at the very least. So yeah, Hambun. Then we have the particle made up to both physical as far as up to in a temporal meaning here with a quantity. Yeah, so up to in general the meaning. And then we have the usual Kaifuku Suru. Yeah, Kaifuku. Actually, the U of Fu barely heard if at all. Kaifuku. Because it's between our voice consonants. Chinese compound unaccented, this one as usual. Restoration, recovery. Yeah, used when we have seen it in this game for healing HP. And yeah, a noun, but we can turn it into a verb by adding suru. So yeah, here the translation is it implied the item restores up to half the HP of one Pokémon that, the relative close, ended up turning into ended up becoming on the verge of death, literally. So yeah, didn't expect it, but yeah, of course, I'm not surprised at the same time that in Japanese they can get away with that, but yeah, no, not in English. Yeah, already we can see that, but that actually should be where we have been. Yeah, no, we have Team Rocket member here down. And we'll tackle him, and I guess that will be it for today, but yeah, we'll see. First, let's get rid of this wild Geodude. Kind of tempted. Okay, no, I'll use one here. I was kind of tempted to heal Bulbasaur with the the attack, but yeah, no. Yeah, let's tackle this Team Rocket member. First and foremost, says "Oh." Here has an exclamation, so yeah, it's say like a "Oh" in English. We'll see then in which meaning exactly. Nothing would, most certainly, since it's a Team Rocket grant. Yeah, let's send it up. Yeah, yeah, as expected, yeah. After that, it says, Otona no sekai ni kubi o tsukomu to abunai ze. Yeah, first and foremost, Otona. Which, by the way, means adult. Strictly Japanese term. Unaccented. Yeah, it's another one of those terms which mentions the plugin Gikun, because yeah, it's a global reading applied to a Chinese compound, a global strictly Japanese reading applied to a Chinese compound of two kanji. Because the kanji that it uses are the one for big and the one for person. We have studied both. But yeah, usually you wouldn't have these readings on their own, although they could be related actually. But we'll see it better when the time comes, when we see it also in kanji. Then we have the possessive particle no. Sekai, we have found already this term in this very game because yeah, the world of Pokemon and so on. Yeah. Word. Accent on the first mora, this one, Chinese compound of those. Particle ni in, well, actually into, I'd say. We'll see why, because of the verb. Then we have the term kubi. We have seen it before, I don't remember where, maybe even this very series. Literally, well, the fundamental meaning nowadays is neck. Unaccented, strictly Japanese reading. As we have seen, body parts usually are either unaccented. The strictly Japanese words for body parts are either unaccented or accent on the last mora. Maybe more the latter, but yeah, no, this one unaccented. Neck, but can also have the meaning head. But yeah, nowadays on its own, usually neck. Then we have the object particle o. Tsukomu. A Chinese compound verb combines the verbs tsuku, which we have seen before, I think maybe when we played Star Fox. But yeah, this tsuku is the one which the meaning to prick, to stab. Also, by the way, there is actually tsuku with the doubling of the consonant. Technically from a compound verb, but actually also that. To poke repeatedly, like to nudge, and so on. And that more likely actually would make more sense than for this doubling of the following consonant then. And then we have the usual komu on its own, used to be crowded, to be packed, accented, but used also quite often as the second verb part of a compound. Here I'd say simply with the meaning in, into. So yeah, the meaning here, yeah, based on those, is to thrust something into something, and so on. Yeah, in our case, of course, we'll see why in a second. Then we have the conjunction to, in this case, is conditional or temporal again. And then we have abunai. A adjective, I think an accent, but we'll check, which means dangerous, risky, and so on. Also used, by the way, as an exclamation when someone is in danger, as in be careful. An accent, yes. Last but not least, the final sentence particle, the usual the, made of more language, familiar language also technically, adds light force or emphasis to a sentence. Also can be threatening or ironic, in our case, straight up threatening clearly. Maybe also ironic in a way. No, I'd say better threatening, strictly speaking, in this case. But yeah, so he's saying here, literally, if you thrust your neck, better most likely head in this case actually, into, also, both because of the verb and then we use the particle ni for before it, before the verb there, for sekai, because of that, into the world of adults, it's dangerous. It's, so yeah, he's clearly threatening us here. So yeah, don't stick, as in don't stick your nose. We would say should be stick. In English with the nose, but yeah, here we have seen with. Actually, I want to look up if I can find Kubio Tsukomu as an expression straight up in the dictionary. And yeah, actually I found it. To poke one's nose into another's affairs and so on. We have translated it step by step. In English it's thrusting into, poking we could still apply, but yeah, it's the neck, better most likely head. The usual rocket underling, rocket grant, senza ratata, unsurprisingly. Okay. I would like to send a monkey, but I think it might be risky here. Okay, luckily it failed, so okay, we might be fine then. Although we might be fine also consider we learned Karate Chop, which should be stronger. Of course, uses quick attack there. Perfect. Karate Chop saved us there. One hit KO. Paras to level 10, perfect. Sends ascend, Ascension in English. So I ascend the Bulbasaur here. We're running out of PP for the grass move, and that's not good. I will try to keep it if possible. Okay, Bulbasaur to level 16. So actually, okay. Okay. Then he says, after being defeated here, the Atama Kuruze. Okay, this is weird because first and foremost we have Atama. Atama means is the word nowadays actually used for head in Japanese. accented on the last more, I think. Atama. I think there might be variations, but yeah, that's the one anyway usually mentioned. And again, accent on the last more for a body part once more. Then we have the verb kuru, which the most common one would be the one with the meaning to come. Although it wouldn't make sense in this case. Maybe the other one with the meaning to reel, to wind. Even though not exactly, might be in the sense of the my head spins then. That's my best guess. Because yeah, to reel, to wind, to spin a thread usually. Other extended meanings, but yeah, I'd say makes more sense the second verb, so in this sense. And yeah, then last but not least, final sentence particles once more. And yeah, this happens now. But yeah, we'll have to check it next time, but yeah, here Bulbasaur level 16 evolved into Ivysaur in English. We'll see its Japanese name next time. Also, we check again next time also what this Rocket Grant has to say. So we save here. Perfect. And yeah, so we can close the game. And yes, so today we continued Pokémon FireRed, we continued Mount Moon, made some more good progress. If you remember correctly, yeah, we took the final ladder found on the ground floor. So yeah, this one is the path to then advance to exit Mount Moon. So yeah, we'll see. We'll eventually get to it. Okay, it's worth. What I wanted to say is that next time for Pokémon FireRed will actually be on Wednesday, exceptionally, because actually first on Wednesday we'll watch the Nintendo Direct that got announced today. So yeah, as usual, we will watch it the next day when we usually stream anyway in general, but also to have the time for it to be uploaded here in the news section of Switch 2 to have a decent quality to avoid too many issues. But yeah, so on Wednesday, we'll first watch the Direct. It's a dedicated Direct for Fire Emblem Fortune Sweep, but yeah, we'll check it out. We'll quote-unquote react to it. As usual, we'll first watch with only some comments here and there when they aren't speaking. We want to listen to the Japanese first and foremost. And then after watching it fully, we'll then go step by step to add more comments and as a also summary of the Direct. But yeah, that shouldn't take more too long. It's 20 minutes, around 20 minutes. So yeah, double that. And yeah, so we should have also some time. And yeah, after a 10 minutes break, because I need time to then open the next stream. We'll play FireRed. We are moving to Friday. Our other Let's Learn Japanese with series, Kairu no Tame ni Kane wa Naru, for the frog for whom the bell tolls, to have more time to play that. So yeah, to play, have at least one full stream of that, as we had one full stream of Pokémon FireRed today. So yeah, even if we play that less for this week, yeah, it's better to do it that way. So yeah, these are our plans. And yeah, see you next time.